Hello and welcome everyone. This is the Founder Scoop. My name is Jacob Lee, and today I have with me Jennifer Young. Thank you for coming, Jennifer.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Jennifer is super cool. I'm really excited to hear from her, but she is are you still a teacher or have
I
you retired?
resigned in 23, so
Okay,
but I still tutor out of my home.
cool.
So I still feel like I am a teacher, yes, but I don't have my classroom anymore.
I see, I see. So she's a former teacher in it was elementary school, right?
hmm
And she is looking forward to opening a children's museum. So
Yes.
I am looking forward to hearing how this whole came apart. Like this
Yeah.
sounds really cool.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I've always been kind of a big connoisseur of museums. Whenever I travel, I love to see museums. I see historical and art museums. I've been a mom and a grandma and an educator, so I love children's museums as well. And it was pretty much the announcement of our first grandchild 11 years ago that kind of inspired me to start one here
Really?
in Utah Valley. So I just that's so it's been a thought that I've been able to research and look into, go visit other children's museums whenever we've traveled the last 10, 11 years. And it's just developed to a point that in 23, I decided to finally resign and do this full time and really put this thing together before somebody else did, and I would really regret
That takes
it.
a lot of courage. Like how long had you been thinking about this before you actually took that big step?
So pretty much 11 years. I started to my husband first when he first heard the story or my idea of starting our own. He got me a book from Mark Walheimer. It's called Museums 101. It's a book about how to start museums, and it kind of became my Bible. I had it highlighted and dog eared and cross referenced and
Wow.
all kinds of stuff. Um, and one of the best suggestions out of that book was to go visit as many as you can. And so whenever we traveled, we would call them ahead of time. We would schedule with them a specific tour, letting them know that we were interested in maybe starting a children's museum. And they were wonderful. They were wonderful to us. They rolled out the red carpet for us. They would give us at least an hour or two of their times, letting them. I could ask them all kinds of questions like, what kind of experience have you had with your flooring? And, I noticed your museum has movable walls. Tell me about that experience. Tell me about what's your biggest headache and how did you solve it? And so I was able to really pick their brains in a lot of ways. So I took a lot of good notes. And we have some wonderful children's museums right here in Utah that I'm a huge fan of as well. So we're trying to create ours specific to be very tailored to families who are interested in having an experience that will create memories.
Mm.
So I can tell you more about it too, but that's kind
Before
of our
before
main
you jump
idea.
into that,
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested. You said your husband gave you a book about how to start museums.
Yep.
That's a really unique gift. Are you someone that's always been interested in museums? Like why did he give you that book?
Yeah, our first grandchild was announced, and I got thinking about my favorite memories with my own children, and I took them to parks, I took them to play groups, I took them to libraries, I took them. We had membership to Ogden Treehouse Museum when we lived in Ogden when my two oldest were really little. And so we had a lot of great exposure to things in Utah, fun things to do, moms and children, right? Um, and all of them were good memories, but my favorite were the ones at that museum. And now they're adults, of course, but I've asked them, what were your favorite memories of all the fun things that we did? What stands out to you? And for them, it was also that same children's museum. And it was a very intimate museum. It was very literacy based. And I've only been an educator the last 20 years. And so I feel like literacy has been my passion, and so it just really stuck out as a museum, a space that Utah Valley does not have. We do have some great museums in Utah Valley. Unfortunately, most of them are way north in the county, and it's set at a price point that's kind of set for those households that are in the northern part of the county. And so I got thinking, and my grandchildren live in Springville, so we're kind of more central and south. So I got me really thinking that our county has so many more children than some of these other spaces where there's already children's museums in Utah. And I started looking into the demographics, and just the more I looked, the more I researched, the more I was convinced that this is a really great idea. Um, and I kept thinking, somebody's gonna somebody's gonna do this,
Somebody's gonna jump on it
and
before me.
if somebody beats me to it, I'm gonna just never forgive myself. So I knew I loved working with children. I knew I loved children's museums. Uh, I knew I loved literacy. I just thought I could really bring this all together in a really beautiful space for Utah Valley.
Hmm.
And so I'm excited to create it. I have 3 floors in mind. It was wonderful to share my vision with my board. We've also spent some time last summer both in Orem farmers markets and Springville farmers markets, where we were able to share our ideas and our vision with the public. And it was a very warm reception.
Hmm.
Everybody was super excited for us. We had one woman who walked away disgruntled, and I found out it was because we weren't open already.
Oh,
So
that's some good feedback.
I kind of felt like it was still a win.
That's really funny.
Everybody was super excited. We had some things on the tables that the kids could look at, interact with, play with, and make and take home. We had some hoop gliders, and we had some Mobius strips that they got to make and kind of have a fun little discussion about, making them think through the process. And it was just really fun for our board and for, to meet with the community and play with the kids in that capacity. And we were able to share our logo and a lot of flyers with the parents, help them be directed to our website. And we just had a very warm reception. We couldn't have been more thrilled. We went to a 2-day Christmas makers market at Sierra Park as well. So it was at those 2 days that we were able to double our newsletter. So we have over 100 people subscribing to our newsletter
Wow,
now.
that's awesome.
So that was great too.
When was the moment where, like, you started this because you're passionate about it, right?
Yes.
This is something that means a lot to you,
Yes.
and you've done a lot of validation. When was the moment when you like thought, oh, hey, this could actually work? Like, there's so many people that are interested in this.
So after I read the book, The Museums 101, I was about the second or third year into thinking about this, and really I put a lot of effort and energy into it in the summer times and the Christmas breaks when I wasn't 100% in my classroom thinking about all that stuff. But I called the museum director of the Ogden Treehouse Museum, and I was interested to see if she might be wanting to kind of do a rubber stamp. Hers is Ogden Treehouse Museum. I love her so much. I was wondering if she might want to do an Orem Treehouse Museum, just kind of the same thing, but in this different location. We're not really in competition. We're an hour and a half apart. But I thought we could just kind of recreate this maybe. She didn't love the idea,
Oh, really?
which is a little bit sad. And her concern was is one that I wasn't already a part of a museum association, but I was like, well, that could be changed really quickly at any point. And which we are now, but at that time I wasn't. And the other point that she had is that we have children museums already in Utah Valley, and she didn't think that a county could hold 2. And so it was a little bit discouraging to me. I don't think that was her goal, but she was just trying to be very real with me. But it actually motivated me to do a lot of demographic studies. And that's what kind of motivated me to really do it, because our county is so much more filled with children than Ogden area is. And so it just really motivated me. So I got better and better at my research. I felt very strongly that it needed to be in Orem, as far as like all the cities in Utah Valley. And I've had offers to be built in other little towns, but it just never felt right. So I've stuck to my guns on it being in Orem. The demographics showed that like Provo has a higher population than Orem does, but when I narrowed the search to children ages 0 to 12, Orem had the highest population.
Hmm.
So we're the second highest in the state. Oddly
Wow.
enough, the city with the highest percentage of children is Lehigh.
Really?
And so
Which
what
is
I
also nearby.
right, and that's where all the other children's museums
Mm.
at Thanksgiving Point are, and they're beautiful. They're beautiful facilities. But I also knew that there was just a niche they weren't quite hitting, and so that's having an intimate feeling that has a lot more literacy bound activities. For instance, the Ogden Treehouse uses Head Start programs, and so does the St. George Children's Museums. So that's something that I would really like to pull into my museum as well. And then just have things a little bit more geared towards Utah history. So that would be great for the field trips as well. So coming at it from different angles as a parent, as a grandma, and as an educator, I think that we can really help deliver something that Utah Valley has never quite experienced yet.
That's really awesome. I love that. That's super cool. Before we started, you mentioned, and actually you mentioned during this already, that you have a board. Tell
Yes.
me about how you assembled your board and what that relationship is like.
Yeah. So I have been in different businesses, but never where I had to create the board myself. And so that was a new experience for me. I very carefully considered people for years. So while I was still teaching, I knew I was getting closer and closer to the point where I was going to start this. And I started considering people very, very carefully. I ended up with people who I've known for a long time. Like I have literally vetted them for years without them even knowing. so, and I also wanted a very diverse type of board with people, people with different skill sets, of course, and skill sets that I don't have, right? So I kind of saw myself as the visionary and the person who's going to execute it once we open. But I also needed a lot more people with business sense and finance and budgeting and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we've got. We have 3 people on our board who are educators. Myself is one of those 3. We have quite a few people who have had quite a bit of business or experience in business and nonprofits and marketing. We have other people. We have a legal person. He's my cousin. I've been vetting him since he since
Long
he was
time.
really little. And let's see, I'm trying to think. And then my husband, he's in the world of finance, and so he's an accountant. So I that's one arm I just need to know I can trust, but not have to be doing myself, right?
Yeah.
So it's a good mix of people. Um, we have 10, like I said, where we we started actually with the 11. The only person who's left, the only reason she left was because she's not in our county and she felt like she was too far away. And I tried to convince her otherwise, but she lives up in Davis County, and so she felt like that was just too far. But we would be open to one more board member. We're looking for someone with specific museum experience, and that's kind of a really small niche in Utah. But we have just recently become members of the Utah Museum Association last fall. We got to go to their conference, and I've gotten to become good friends with the person who runs that. And so I'm like, hey, Ruth, can you look out for me? I'm trying to find one more person on my board. We would prefer to have it an odd number, but we're doing great with the 10 that we have. So
Hmm.
we've made some really good goals for this year for sure.
I love it. What are your fundraising goals?
So our first fundraiser is going to be next month, actually, and so
Wow.
it's the day before Easter. It's April 19th. It's a Saturday. It will be in Orem at the Sierra Park. We're having a kids fun run. It's going to be a 1K and a 3K. So kids that register, the registration is a donation towards the museum. So all proceeds will go to help building us. But we're going to have some great events there. We'll have the 1K and then the 3K, and we'll have some other fun activities. If your family member, if you only have like 1 or 2 family members who are runners, but others want to come, we'll have some fun things for the other children too. So, yeah, so
That's a
come
great
join
idea.
us.
I
We would
love
love
that.
to have as many people as possible show up at that fun event. So it'll be at 10 a.m. at the Sierra Park, and we're meeting under the pavilion that's just north of the Orem pool.
Mm, that's awesome. Everyone go check out their fundraiser. That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be a fun event. I'm excited. My husband is a runner, and so we've gone to lots of running events, and this is like something where like we could do a running event. This is something we've got in the
That's
bag. So
cool. It looks like you're really good at leveraging your strengths.
oh, thank
Like
you.
you're surrounding yourself around good people
Yeah.
and you're leveraging the strengths that you have.
We've definitely had a lot of good people involved in it. And we know that as we've met more people at the Utah Museums Association, it's just been a very friendly profession and kind of environment. It was so fun and interesting to me to go to the conference last fall and realize that this is not a dog eat dog world. This is a cooperative world in the museum business. And so I've even the last 2 months, I've toured more specifically the Utah museums, and they just are so welcoming and so lovely to work with. They all want to help. It's been very, very kind and very sweet. It's been something great to bring my board members into also and to kind of help them to see that this is something that they can be a part of and something that we can in turn offer to the community too. 'Cause we'll be hiring lots of great people to help us run the museum, and then lots of families and educators coming into our doors. So we can hardly wait.
I love the community focus you have here. Like that's something I just personally believe that like we can use business to serve
Yes.
the community.
Yes.
With this opportunity, you mentioned it's nonprofit, right?
It is a nonprofit, 501(c)(3). Yes.
That's awesome. And you also mentioned that you also have an idea for other fundraising through your gift shop. Do you mind telling me more
Yes.
about that?
Yes. So most children museums have a gift shop, which I always love.
Yeah.
Right? And our board had the idea. So we formed over a year ago. So our board's been fully functioning just over a year, and we're in our second year of planning. The board had an idea is like, hey, before our building, before we have exhibits and we're all open and have sales, why don't we do a gift shop that's online? And I just was like, yeah, why not? That would be great. So I've been meeting a lot of great business owners and vendors here locally, and finding products that I thought would really appeal to young families, specifically, and talking to them to see. And all of them have been like, "Yeah, fantastic! Put me on your website." So we're just upgrading the website right now, trying to supersize it so that we can accommodate, so that when they do order, it goes straight to them. And there'll still be a small proceed that goes to help build our museum.
So the website's not up yet,
So
correct?
we do have a website
Oh, you
open
do?
right now. We're supersizing it right now to accommodate the
Okay.
extra orders that will be on the gift shop.
What's your current website and where can people go when the digital gift shop is ready?
So it's just orchardchildrensmuseum.org. That's our website, and the URL is not changing.
Cool.
So we're just making it so that Shopify can be part of the ordering system and all that. So
I love it. That's awesome.
yeah.
What kind of products are you guys gonna have on there?
So we have some great things. Some of them are been created by other educators that are specifically trying to put together lessons for families who are doing homeschool or even preschoolers, before they're off to public schools. So that's a fantastic product. There's also some things that kids would just love to play with, gadgets and toys and cards and things like that. There's one specific gal that I met last fall. She's taken kind of like a cookie sheet, but it's like a special cookie sheet that's magnetic, of course. And then she's created stories that are just the vinyl magnets, and then you can order like which kind of story you want. So she has hundreds to choose from, and they're fantastic. And so it can be anything from like your fairy tales or just like certain settings like a castle or a wooded forest, with certain characters. But I loved it because it creates a lot of imagination, in our children. And there's products that parents will use. There's Jilly that has a great product that I just met here at
Yeah.
iHub, that has like a thermos where you can store your formula at the
Yeah.
bottom and keep it
We actually
dry.
interviewed him on the show probably I think 2 months ago or
Yeah,
so. He just announced his first.
yeah.
I think it's his first product. So
I'm super excited
super.
about
I
what
really
they're.
love his brand.
I do too. And first time I saw it was about 2 weeks ago, and it was on a display table, and I just looked at it and I was like, this is a smart idea. Like, I can't imagine any parent who would not want one of these. So yeah, I just talked to them 2 weeks ago and again today, and they're like, yes, we want to be on your website. So,
That's super cool. So,
um,
so that brings up a really good point, right? We're here at iHub. We
mhm,
have lots of collaboration with companies.
yes.
How else have you like grown through iHub's help?
So I'm a brand new member. I was told that I am the first nonprofit to sign up with
Yeah, I
iHub.
think you are. I haven't heard of any others.
So that's kind of been fun. Yeah, I love the collaborative feeling. Like you said, they have wonderful workshops I've been able to attend to already so far. And again, it's just a great community. It feels like home when you walk through iHub stores. You just feel like you're home. Like
Yeah.
it's a wonderful feeling. Yeah, and I also talked to another couple who are doing the life support. So I'm like, I can't think of a family in Utah that wouldn't want one of these in their home for choking. If their child is choking, they have a device that they could pull that out quickly and easily without doing damage that Heimlich sometimes does. So, I'm just interested in anything that I think a young family would be interested in as far as products go on our
Yeah.
website. Um, and as a grandma, I'm in that shopping zone too. I'm always trying to find good products for my grandkids' birthdays and Christmas and all the fun little holidays. So, yeah.
How many grandkids do you have?
I have 7.
7.
I have
And
7.
are they all in this area as well?
They all live in Springville, all
Mm,
7 of them, 2 different households. So, yeah, I get to watch one of the 2-year-old once a week.
that's awesome.
And, yeah, we interact quite a bit and have a lot of fun watching, the other household, not with the 2-year-old, but the other home, and watching them when dad and mom are off, vacationing, just the 2 of them next month, so we get them for a weekend. So,
I
yeah,
love that.
we like to interact with them as often as possible.
That is so cool. I can see how that definitely plays a role in this, especially. You mentioned that in the very beginning about how, like, was it your grandson?
Yeah,
He kind of
our oldest
inspired
one.
this.
Yeah, he's 10 now. Yeah, and he was born with autism, so we and his mom is actually on our board as well too.
Oh, no
She has a
way.
lot of crazy skills in marketing.
You
So
sound like an awesome family.
so between her and then another marketing guy on our board and one of the educators on our board, all 3 of them have, special needs children. And so we are very much designing our museum with that in mind. We feel like there can't be enough spaces that have that in mind, right? And so we know that there's a rise in children with ADD and with autism, and so we're very much planning our all 3 floors with spaces that are very specific to their needs.
That's awesome. So give me kind of a glimpse of what this is going to look like. You mentioned there's 3 floors.
Yes.
What else? What's going to be involved?
You want me to break down the floors a little
Yeah,
bit? The
yeah.
first floor will be all Utah history. So there's lots of fun things that I think kids are very excited about. So we have Utah dinosaurs. We'll have a dinosaur room. We'll have a Lake Bonneville room. Most people don't know what Lake Bonneville really was. It was the Precambrian kind of era, but
The Super
during
Salt Lake.
yes, it was covering more than half of the state. And during that era, there was camels.
Oh, really?
There was
Wow.
saber-toothed tigers, there was woolly mammoths, and giant beavers. And so,
That sounds pretty cool.
kind of
I would love to
surprising.
be on that floor of the museum. That sounds
Yeah,
interesting.
so that'll be one exhibit area. Another area is Native American spaces, and so, featuring some of the both registered and the non-registered tribes in Utah. We have a space for trappers, for traders, the priests that came through Utah, of course, the pioneers, and another room for Promontory Point. And in the middle of all that is a beautiful orchard that the kids can interact and have all these like little trees and balls and section things and So that's all the first floor. Second floor is all designed around play and imagination. There's a game room, there's an art room, there's a theater room. Let's see. What else am I forgetting on that floor? That's pretty much it on the second floor. And then the third floor is all science, mostly science that has to do with light, sound, and vibrations.
Mm.
So I had a lot of fun concepts about that room specifically too. So
As you talked about this, I just remembered like growing up. I'm from Colorado,
okay,
and we would always go to I think it's the Museum of Natural History.
okay,
Um, and I just, I love what you're doing. This is
oh, it's
super cool
great.
because I have so many good memories at that museum.
I hear that from everybody. Everybody who hears my idea always want to tell me about their favorite museum. And I love it too because it just adds to like the ones that I want to go see.
Yeah.
So my husband and I, we've traveled, we've
Do you have
seen
a long list of museums that you
we
want to go
do.
to?
So we've seen 5 out of the state. We saw Boston and Tampa and San Antonio and Las Vegas and Portland,
Are these all
Oregon.
children
They're all
museums?
specific
Okay. Have
children's
you been to the one in
museums.
Ohio?
I have not.
I just went there last. It was for like Thanksgiving. My wife, her sister lives out
Oh,
there,
okay,
and we
great.
actually went
Awesome.
with all of our
And
nieces and
it was
nephews.
and see and you it was probably different than just like a park or, something else, which you're still entertained and you're grateful for in the community, but a children's museum specifically creates warm memories, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Somehow everybody wants to tell me about their warm memories at a specific museum. And I love to ask them, what is it about it that you liked? And sometimes they can't even put it to words, right? But they just have those special feelings about it. And the more research I've done about the communities that already have great children's museums, I've just been able to see what a gem it was to their community and how much their community really loved that space. And so I think it's a great contributor to any community. Part of the reason why I picked Orem was because Orem is Family City USA. And so it just seems like a good fit. And the city is really thrilled about me coming. um, we've had great interactions with the city. So,
Hmm. Well, Jennifer, I've really enjoyed this conversation. Is there any last words that you'd like to share to our audience?
no, just come to our fundraiser April 19th at the Sierra Park, 10 a.m. Come early. If you need to still register, you can register early on our website, orchardchildrensmuseum.org. And we'll also be at the farmers markets again this year. So we'll be in the Orem and the Springville farmers markets. So come find us. We'd love to meet you and interact with you.
Everyone, go check them out.
Thank you.